Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and it's that time of the week again. It's time for a Future Friday video where we take that 4-month look into the future of War of the Visions. But this video is really focused around not only Melnia, who is our preview, but just the rising power of Earth. 2023 has been a year that if you're an Earth player, you've been living right, my friend. Let me just show you, like, as an Earth player, what my account really looks like here. I have 5 140 Earth units. Now, one of them is Eileen, and I understand that that's Eileen, and I do get that. But I also have 2 140 MR units. I know Balo has been gaining a lot of popularity as well. Clearly, I have yet to embrace that man, but I might just, especially if some cost limited situation comes up where instead of being able to swap a Mont in there, I have to use Balo. Dialdo, who I've been pulling for and has been how to say this in a way that doesn't crush my soul. Well, my very public attempt at pulling Dialdo was blocked by Gumi or Square Enix. I'm sitting on enough pity medals to actually pity him. I'm waiting for the end of the week for the login tickets, all of that. That's not what we're here for. What I'm saying is it's a really good time to be an Earth player, and Melnia is going to add to that. Like, Earth stocks are rising more with Melnia. Let's take a peek at her. Now, Pseudo Body, this is her new job. I don't know if this translated correctly, but she's a double gunner type unit. She's a ranged unit, and most of her power, or at least a lot of her power, lies in her ability to stay far away from the enemies and do damage. Right now in Arena this week in Guild Wars, I'm playing a light team where Wingstern and Warrior of Light stack AoE resist, run at the enemy, and Jaden just stays back at a safe distance and drops bombs on the other team. Melnia could be a unit that can do that for your Earth teams, and it's not something the Earth necessarily has access to right now. Her Trust Master is going to be okay. 4 agility is never a bad thing. Missile attack reaction block rate, it's decent enough, especially if you're a newer player, but reaction block rate up, attack up, single target resist, accuracy, I don't know about her as a high accuracy unit, more on that later, and then an upgraded skill. None of this really shows her power. Her power starts to come out when you look at her support abilities. So, best body, now hold on. This must be a translation error. This has got to be a translation error because we just looked at Eileen, and look, it's not a bad body, but it's not Eileen. So we'll give that to a translation error. That we can forgive that, but we'll call it good body. The upgraded skill of far-reaching body increases missile attack resistance penetration by 40 and gives her range +2. Now, as a missile unit, you do want missile attack resistance pin because you want to stay back far away from the enemies and kill them with your missile attacks. If they stack missile resist, that can shut you down. Missile attack resist penetration is a way to get around that. Then, if you want even more range, you can go Hunter's Knowledge for 1 more range with some accuracy built in. However, I think the way to go for support abilities for her is going to be to get some defense pin, and you have 2 options there. You have 40 here or 40 here. Knowledge of the Trick Lancer will give you critical hit rate along with the 40, or heavy attack body will give you 40 critical hit rate with AP consumption down and a decrease move 1. Now, decreased move 1 might seem like a debuff, but for a missile unit, it's actually a good thing as long as they have ways to play around that. Decreasing move by 1 will help you if you have a turn where you buff yourself and then walk towards the enemy. Whoops, looks like the Google Play Store version crashed. It is what it is. Anyway, decreasing your move -1 will prevent you from maybe walking into range of some AoE attacks or into range of the enemy gunner if you have a turn where all you can do is buff and walk towards the enemy team. Where move -1 can hurt you is if you're trying to set up your squad with some like lateral buffing movement, it might prevent you from being able to get to your allies to buff them. Luckily, Melnia with the rest of her kit has a way around that. We'll check that out here in a minute. So I think you run one of these 2 options. If you really wanted to build her as an accuracy unit, you could run Hunter's Knowledge and Unfathomable Spear Throwing Technique. You get a lot of accuracy there. That's 50 with just those 2, plus her Master ability, so you can stack accuracy on her. However, if you do that, you're losing out on both of your penetrations, It's a give and take. I like her as a penetrating unit, not an anti-evade accuracy unit. Okay. Her counter move, her new one, Dodge, is a physical reflex that gives her crit rate. And you might be thinking, hey, physical reflex, that sounds pretty good, until you realize she just has regular reflex with the same proc rate. So 15% to dodge all damage feels better than a 15% to dodge just physical. So I do like reflex even as a unit who is staying far back. If the rest of your team dies and she does end up having to, eat a few attacks, maybe she'll dodge one. That could be really good. Okay, her main job, the bread and butter of what this girl's gonna do. She's an earth missile unit. She'll scale off of attack, dexterity, and luck. Her cheap move, Purple Bullet, is 121% modifier that goes up to 161% modifier if the target has AP auto restore, haste, or is asleep. Now look at the range here and let's start playing with numbers a little bit. Its base range is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you add 3 or 4 range up to her, which is doable, this could go all the way up to a 9 range skill. Just keep that in mind as we look at her skills. She's going to be able to hit all the way across certain maps. Now, with her move -1, if you're running that, she's going to need good self buffs. She gets a really good one right here in speed. It gives her 40% attack, 25 crit rate, 1 more range, so there's that other range I was kind of talking about, and 25% agility. Really good steroid, and if all she's able to do at the beginning of a fight is self buff, this is something you're going to want in that self buffing rotation. I'm going to skip Crash. I'll come back to that for now. I want to talk about her group buff, Melissa's Prayer, which I'm guessing is once again mistranslated. It's probably Melnia's Prayer. Who cares? It has a big AoE on it. This is intentional for her. It's important for her because it extends her buffing range by 1, which means if you want her to get that lateral movement towards a tank or towards an ally at the beginning of a fight, so she's not moving into range of the enemy, she can now do that, whereas maybe she couldn't if her range on her buff was only 1 and she's 3 spaces away, which is a really common spacing on maps. Now she'll be able to do that. So the big AoE here is very important for her specifically. This will give Protect to allies for 4 turns. That's really nice. It also gives her Dispel Auto Revive for 3 turns, so re-raise removal. It gives her 20 more defense pin, and it grants her a small AP Auto Restore. This is a very important buff. You're going to want her to go Melnia's Prayer into speed, I think, to fully unlock her kit. Okay, Crash. Crash is a 200% damage modifier, single target move that decreases healing power. So she has healing decrease in there. Again, same thing where you can build this range up to like 9. She has 2 pairs, which is a 2 target multi-hit move. Pretty powerful stuff. 165% modifier that can put them to sleep. So maybe you run her at high faith. Yeah, I think she's a good candidate for high faith, especially if she's staying back and being safe. And then you can see she does have a small AoE attack that dispels buffs, haste, physical damage increase, magic damage increase, and is a 215% modifier that's written weird. So it's an extra large damage move. I don't know why they just didn't make it 215%. There's probably a reason. I don't get it. It's a 3-use move. Let's talk about a weakness of hers. One thing that jumps off the page as a bit of a weakness is a lack of a big diamond-shaped AoE. I'm talking about this shape right here, but instead of a buff, like Barrage or something like that. Even with Ranger Subjob, she does not have access to Barrage, so she's single target focused or at best small AoE focused. So she's really going to be made to take down one person, which again makes me think you want to stack those penetrations on her, because if you're fighting a team with a tank, she can only hit one person. She needs to be able to kill that tank that she's hitting. Why would you run Ranger Sub then? Well, you run Ranger Sub to get target shooting. If you do have to run her into a evasion team, at least she does have sharpshoot, which was the English word for target shooting. At that long range, so she could snipe evasion units off the map. Again, though, you have to watch out with plus 100% hit chance moves that you're not hitting a Yuffie or something like that who negates this hit chance. Okay, then she has Trick Lancer. Now, Trick Lancer is a big deal for her as well, because Trick Lancer has Bind Throw, which is this super long range spear throwing move. You're probably not going to be running Bind Throw upgraded from her support job, so I'm not going to pay too much attention to that one, but it's a 165% modifier piercing move that scales off of purely attack. That's base range is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, if you're extending that range by 3 or 4, you're looking at an 8 or 9 range ability. Range height 5. You can throw this spear all over the map. So if somebody is just stacking missile resist and whatever you're bringing isn't enough to get through it, maybe a piercing move would hit harder. Here you go. There's an option for a piercing move. Her limit break is a physical barrier breaker, 200% damage modifier, can inflict poison, and gives human killer 40 if you do indeed poison the target, making her again a better candidate for a high faith physical damage dealer, which you don't have all the time. Okay, she comes with a new gun, Dual Moon, 195 attack assault version. That's high for a gun. I like that. Or the crit version with 24 crit has 156 attack. Not bad, not bad. It gives initial AP 20. I want to talk about that for a second. Initial AP 20 on a unit like Melnia that has such an extended range, and especially one that walks into a fight with such extended range, if the enemy moves towards you before she gets to go, she might be in range of them on turn 1. So having initial AP 20 will help you maybe get off 2 attacks that aren't basic attacks before you run out of AP, maybe killing that unit instead of just wounding them and then having to ramp back up through building AP. It also gives you healing power down on a critical hit and missile attack 15. So a very, very good gun, and Melnia looking like a very, very good Earth unit as Earth stocks continue to rise. This will be towards the end of 23. Let's see, it's July now. So July, August, September, October. It'll be like November, early to mid-November before we see Melnia. But Earth players, it's something you could start saving for, especially if you dipped in to the last batch of Earth units like Dialdo, people like that. Like if you're a little tapped out on Earth, here's a chance to save back up. Melnia's coming soon, and she's not a limited unit, so that's nice as well. Okay, thank y'all for watching. I hope you have a great day. Remember, if you're buying anything on Amazon right now, I do have that special Amazon Prime Days link in the description and in the pinned comment section. It doesn't save you any more money than Amazon's already giving you, but like 5 to 10% of your purchases come to me instead of just Amazon, and I like myself better than I like Amazon. So thanks. Use that if you want to. I appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody. I'll catch you next time. Peace.